What's up, dev team? What's good? Hope everybody's been doing good lately. So I am back with a video. I wanted to take a bit of a breather since the your first 60 minutes with motion matching before I started getting into a lot of other videos like the beyond your first 60 minutes and doing some other stuff, because I do have some things that I do want to talk about with y'all. However, I want to go over what I have in front of me, which is the game animation sample project 5.5, because I know you've been seeing it. It's been plastered all over by a lot of developers. So what I wanted to do was a little bit different, because I know everybody's trying to show off 5.5. I think y'all have seen the videos of Unreal Engine 5.5 where, you know, you got your like awesome control rig stuff, you got your dynamic shadows, lighting, and other stuff, which I think is all really cool and very awesome within Unreal Engine. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of get ahead of the curve and talk about the game animation sample 5.5, just because I wanted to get a first look at it with y'all to see what I can point out, especially since my channel has done the game animation sample project from scratch, and I want to see, with my 4-5 months of Unreal Engine experience and decoding the game animation sample project, see what I can pick out in this and see what we can quickly gather. So let's go ahead and just kind of like hop into it and see what's going on. So one of the first things I noticed when I did do a little bit of testing is, I will say, the movement was fantastic. And then on top of that, got our nice walks, everything's looking pretty good. I'm surprised with the amount of less glitching that we have compared to the 5.4, but then you can also see that we have awesome crouching, like we just go straight into it. There's no T-posing, whatever. It's pretty fluid. You'll see some slight sliding, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into the animation blueprint in just a bit to see like what we could probably adjust or see what they have going on in there, you know, for like our sliding and stuff like that, right? So let's go ahead and get back in there. But yeah, and then we also have sprint. So like, dude, this is freaking amazing because we finally have sprint now, but I probably will end up fixing this up because I've noticed there's some wonkiness to the legs, and I kind of might know how to fix that depending on what they have or don't have, right? So let's go ahead and take a brief look at it. So we got to see all the cool stuff, or actually there is one thing I didn't do, and I didn't test it. So we do now actually have ledge climbing, or what they have called it like ledge grappling or whatever. See how we can hold to catch ledges now. So let me see if I can do this. I was tinkering around with it a little bit ago just to see like how it felt, but I never successfully got this. So let's actually see. Oh, that is sick. All right, hold on. All right. We might be onto something here, dev team. So let's see. So actually, let's take a look at it, right? So one of the things that I've noticed when I popped this open and we went to blueprints, right, is that you'll notice this pre-CMC tick, right? So since 5.4 to 5.5, we have an actor component now. And when we go into the actor component, and of course it opened up on my other screen, the thing that's interesting to me about this is they're calling their sandbox character reference in here. So on the then begin play, we're getting our owner and we're specifying the sandbox character specifically, and then we're making the reference. But then what we're doing is on event tick, we are doing this pre-CMC tick on our character reference. So this is something that is within our character blueprint, right? So let's go ahead and open up our character blueprint by just clicking on the function. So already it takes us in here and we can see that there is a custom event for updating rotation and updating movement. And what this is doing, as you can see here, updates before character movement component. So this is stuff that it's doing or accomplishing before our character movement component. So let's take a look at our rotation. So right off the bat, one of the things that I can see is same things from the strafing or rotation videos that I've done on this channel, where we do have the usual suspects for setting up strafing, right? Where this line would set up the strafing and this line would set up orientation of movement. So I think that's pretty cool. But the thing that I've noticed is this specifically. So there's a couple things that I noticed, right? The first one is this. Right off the gate, one of the things I did see, so actually let me go ahead and pull that over. So I did do some research on this, and there's a LinkedIn post for the Unreal Engine 5.5, right? where one of the things that you'll have noticed is sample logic now supports network multiplayer. So I know I've gotten questions in the past with some of my videos as how to implement it in as a multiplayer thing, or how to implement multiplayer or network multiplayer into GASP. The problem with it is I'm not knowledgeable in the multiplayer aspect of Unreal Engine yet, because I have solely focused on the character and animation blueprints and trying to learn those and implement functionality as well as simpler and more optimized functionality for it, because that's just the kind of person I am. I want to try to take the most complex things and make it the simplest possible while maintaining that same level of efficiency and other stuff, right? So we can now see, yeah, we've already tested that we have sprint and crouch. That was awesome. But I'm curious to see the sparse databases with the crouch, walk, and sprint states. But now we can see here that it now runs and cooks on mobile, complete with touch UI and asset optimizations. So they even have optimized it, or further optimized this to work well, or at least better on mobile. The problem is I haven't made any mobile games. I haven't tested any sort of mobile stuff. So I have no idea what to even do with this, but this actually makes it pretty cool, because that means this AAA style game or template can be ran and cooked on mobile. So that's actually pretty sick. So then we have new gameplay camera system. I'm curious about that, which, you know, we're going over 300 more animations. So we even have up to what, like 800 now, if they're saying that, because originally it was 500 plus animations. But if we now have 300 plus added, now we should be up to 800. So that's pretty sick in itself. One of the things that's funny that I've noticed is this part right here, right? Where they say an experimental setup that combines state machines, choosers, motion matching, and blend stack. The thing that is funny is the template that I'm trying to make, that I think I'm going to put onto Fab for free, or go over, like, because I made a comment earlier today, or you know, as of today of November 13th, 2024, where I have been working on a project to make the third-person template as simple as possible, and utilizes motion matching technology to get you off the ground and running. And let me show you one of the things that I've done with it, right? So I'm going to pull it up and over. So a lot of the stuff you will see that I've copied GASP on, or I've done some changes, right? But I've tried to make it as close to the third-person template as possible. However, one of the things in regards to it with the motion matching, so I need to go into the blueprint, right, is that you'll notice that my motion matching is tied into locomotion, and then I still have the main states. But in the main states, one of the things that you'll notice with the comment that I made is no matter what I've done to try to correct jumping motion matching databases, I cannot fix, and I think it's due to anim notifications and a bunch of other stuff which I don't have much experience with yet, or I've tinkered around. So I think that is the cause of my issues, because one of the things that you'll notice if we go into the event graph, into the event graph and then generate trajectory, is this right here, the collision result to our trajectory collision node, which is in the game animation sample project 5.4. I've not seen it in 5.5. This will give you, if I expand this right here, is the time to land variable, which this is being used in the game animation sample project 5.4 to set up our jumping animations with our start jumps, our apexes of the jump, and then our lands and all this other jazz, right? So no matter what I've done here, it will just not work properly. Like, it'll play a jump loop, but will never do the entirety of the jumping instance. So in saying that, when coming back to this main states, if we keep the state machine, and as you can see with locomotion here, of how we have an alias of 2 falling, where we get our jump animation and our fall loop based off of transition rules, where this one takes priority because we are jumping, so priority 1, priority 2, where it's like, okay, after jumping, initiate the fall loop, so that way we are quote unquote falling. But then here, an automatic rule, so that way it goes from here to here using this ruling to get that, and then we have an alias here to land, which then does not falling, which then does a landing with an automatic rule that goes from landing to back to our locomotion. So essentially what it's doing is going into here, feeding into the locomotion that you saw in the main states, and then if we're jumping, do that stuff, takes priority, whatever, and then continue down the pipeline, right? But, you know, I wanted to show this off just to kind of show that I found this funny, because that's what I started testing, and I think using a mixture of motion matching technology with state machines can get you some really nice results. So, but going back to this though, you know, now that we looked at some of this stuff, so going back to this variable right here, you could see that we have the two balloons, which in my experience and what I've seen is this means that this is eligible for multiplayer. So this node is set up, as you can see right here with it being replicated, it is set up for a networked multiplayer session. So I'm curious to see how much more this stuff has of like networking capabilities, right? So with that being said though, if we go here off the branch, we can see that our rotation rates are about the same, although the rotation rate here I set to 500 in my other projects just to give the natural rotation rate. This is set to -1, which is fine because that essentially just makes the rotation while we're on the ground instant, but the animations will still play out as if we have a rotation rate of 500. So like for example, if we play, you know, and we go into our aim, you could see that the rotation rate is pretty normal. Like this is pretty good, right? So we don't have to worry about that. And also too, when we do our movement and stuff like that for our rotation, you could see we're pretty good here. You see how it rotates nicely. And then if we're orienting to movement, that our rotation is not happening like as instantly as we think it is. It still has to play out the animations and stuff. So it's pretty good. So we're already doing that check, so that's pretty interesting. So it's literally the same thing that you would be doing, but we're just doing it before the character movement, setting it up with a structure file to get these items. So they're making a structure file. So if we go into our data, let me see, where is this? So we have character input state. So they went even what I was thinking about doing, which is hilarious to me. So where is it at? It would be, let's see, so we have experimental state machine. Oh, so they even got that. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Ah, here it is, structure. Yeah, so they legit made a once a sprint walk. That is fantastic because I was wondering and considering that. So they straight up did that is hilarious to me. Although what I probably would have done, let me see something. So if we do that, so let's go ahead. I'm pretty sure it's going to be down here, and let's do our gets. We could probably do it like that, but I don't. Let me see. Because if we set it up here, let me see. They do once to strafe, once to aim. Yeah, you could have probably just done it straight like that and probably have like not have went through the breaking, but then again, you can't restructure it. So I do like that way, but for the moment, I think that that's pretty good. And you still get the same result. So that is actually interesting. Yeah, and they start off with the once to strafe there. Oh, dude, this is going to be sick. So if I compile and save, cool, it doesn't actually break anything. Oh, dude. Okay, so then that's cool. So we got that. What do they do with their movement? Oh, wow. Okay, so we're calculating acceleration now. Oh, I know exactly what they're doing. This is being used within the animation blueprint. And the reason that I know that is because if you followed me with the animation blueprint, there are things like the leans and stuff like that, and there's some other stuff that are using the max acceleration and braking acceleration to get your leans and some other stuff. However, the ground friction is going to be interesting to me, and they're only doing the friction to the sprint. So, ooh, okay, that's going to be interesting. Did they change the desired gate? So the desired gate is still the same, although I have noticed this, where we have this V. This essentially means that this is a local variable, which I found was interesting. So you can actually differentiate what is an actual global variable and what is a local to the function variable. So I think that's pretty awesome. One of the things that I do want to see, so let's see, currently this can cause issues with motion matching selection for the safest implementation. All right, so they still have not fixed a single gate yet. So one of the things that I've done, you may have noticed it in the in my Your First 60 Minutes, where I straight up don't even have this, because what they're doing here is they're using the world space for a base locomotion failback in case this fails, right? So you more than welcome to have this, but this is necessary unless you want that failback. So you can legit just call this and do your 70% threshold right here. And then you can also skip out on this. You can just straight up delete this and just plug this into here and you get your true or false. Because what this is doing essentially, I know I explained it poorly in my character blueprint from scratch, but that was when I first started YouTube. I was still learning more about this stuff, so I didn't have a better understanding of it. But basically it's just that if true, we're going to select these variables, and if false, we're just going to fall back to these variables. But most of the time with like your keyboard, unless you have an analog keyboard that allows you to actually work this threshold, like I have a mechanical keyboard. So if I don't press a button, it's a 0. If I press the button, it's going to be 1 regardless. So I'm going to get a fixed speed regardless, right? But if you have an analog keyboard, the further you press on the button, you can actually go from 0 to 1, which means that these fixed speeds or variable speeds here will actually kick in, which I think is pretty interesting. So it looks like, so they're doing a can sprint function. So what are they doing? So they're checking acceleration. They're getting pending movement input vector. So I don't know what this does really. So I have to look at that. Locally controlled, this is for multiplayer. Okay, I see, is locally controlled. That's interesting. So what we're doing then, returns true if controlled by local controller, not network. Okay, so this is, if you're playing on network, then this gets the sprint specifically for the client. I see. Interesting. So then we have our rotation from X vector. I need to re-explain this because I have a better way of explaining it, but I gotta find my notes for it. I know I explained it poorly when doing my series and stuff like that, so definitely have to fix that. But I see we're doing a change in rotation here, so whatever our current rotation is based off of our rotation, we're getting the change between these two. So we're getting our yaw, so we're setting it to a positive value. If it's less than a positive value of 50, so it's false, but then true. So I gotta do more of this. So if our rotation is true and we want to sprint, so I gotta, okay, so definitely, oh yeah, this is gonna be a whole new series. Okay, so I kind of see what they're doing there. And then we're finally getting our sprint, and it's exactly where I said it was gonna be in my series. It's gonna literally be this. I knew it, I called it. So, but we got that. So desired gate still the same. Is calculate max speed still the same? Okay, we're getting that, but then we have control rotation. So I wonder what they were trying to do there. I think this was more or less for our controller with rotation. Maybe, I think. I don't know. But we're still getting this, which is funny because in my other project, I guess I'm going to just show this for comparisons. That way you can see what I've done, right? So I actually set up a simpler version of this with the update movement, where if I open up my calculate max speed, you'll notice that I have two pure functions, right? I have get desired gate speeds and strafe speeds. The get desired gate, as simple as you can make it, but I'm also using a network replicated crouch to do in case for networking or whatever, but also the node's pretty simple. But then the strafe speed I made similar. So you'll notice that there are similarities with the 5.5 that I've taken. And except I never made a strafe map, what I did was in range floats, and then just set booleans, and then just set a local variable for our strafe map, because we're not calling it anywhere else for our indicator. And I'm just setting it to 0 if we're going forward, left and right is 1, and backwards is 2, just like with the curve float. And all I'm doing is returning that into here, so that way then you can just call it out here and do the same exact thing. And it's, to me, I believe it's more performant because you're not having to call an object and get its data there. It's just already set within the third-person character blueprint. So I think I have probably just a simpler optimized one. But then you can see here that we still follow the get desired gate speeds that I have, except I use a structure file there. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, but then we have our own separate. So they they separated it out. So instead of calling it just all together, they're doing it here for better optimization. But see, they're still using the same thing. So in my head, this is not optimized, right? But I can also see this. So this is being called in both of those places. So one of the things I guess I needed to start doing is checking for orientation of movement. So yeah, because if we are true, then we are always facing forward. We are always 0, so it doesn't matter. So always place this as 0. But if false, then get our 1 and get our 2 values. So that's interesting, but at the same time, I don't like that, because what does that mean for the strafe map speed? So where is it at? Strafe map. Let's see. We got our 0. We got our, but it's at 45 and 0. Interesting, because last time it was at 30. We're at 80. We call 100. That's still the same. Oh, but we're calling 135 here and then 180 here. So this is different. This point is different because it used to be 150, and then this point is different because it used to be 30. So that's interesting. So they've updated the values, but then if you're going to do that, then that doesn't make sense to me, because then why always set it to true? Just get rid of the zeros out of here. And, you know, if we meet the 1 and 2 values, then just throw that into here while the 0 is just whatever. But, well, no, because, no, I see it now because of rotation of movement. Yeah, so if we're facing forward, we call this regardless. We still have to put the zeros in here. Okay, so I misspoke, dev team, so my bad about that. So yeah, but other than that, still the same thing here. So then let's see. So we have movement inputs the same. The world space is still the same. They're normalizing it. Camera's still the same. Gamepad, I don't think it was like this in the 5.4. I'll have to double check that because I don't think we were getting world delta seconds. But see, then this is where it's interesting with the walk input, because now we're checking to make sure that we don't want to sprint, and then we're still doing the not wants to walk, right? So if I pull up the other project, you know, for the simple, because I still utilize these tactics, right? So as you can see here, we're still getting the not wants to walk, even though that's set to false. So that way we play the true, because we, you know, that way we can then set our walking to walk. But then I have it placed here because for some reason, if you don't have this here, you know, like here, right? So if you don't have it, then basically what ends up happening is you don't toggle back out of the walk back to a run, right? So for some reason, I have to place this in order to toggle back to a run. But then what we're doing is we're updating input state server. So they've literally made it multiplayer. So where is this? Update input. So we have executes on server, and it goes, so replicate input state from server to all clients. Oh, dude, that's sick. Okay, hang on. Oh, I didn't even see this part. Wait, where are we at? We're still in the... Oh, I didn't even check this part. Okay, hang on. Tick prerequisite content or component. Where is this at? Oh, dude, there's going to be so much to go over. So we've included open mapping here. So client, possess client, set up camera. Oh, so they're already doing the camera call. Is it the same thing here? Ah, they finally input a new data-driven console variable. So that's going to be interesting. We're doing calling to player controller, and we're setting a local reference there. Ah, this is going to be interesting because we're getting a camera rig. Okay, hold up. Oh god, dude, we're doing a camera rig now. Set view target to blend. All right, so yeah, this will definitely be a new series because I have a lot of stuff to go over with this. So let's see, what else do we have? So we still got some similarities to our event on jump, except they're doing the custom event on jump, which is pretty much still the same. They're playing the audio event when we get there at those speeds, or, you know, before the jump. We have our... Oh, so they even implemented the on walking off ledge to uncrouch. That's fantastic, actually. And then on landed, so this is going to be played on server, I'm guessing, and they call the custom event here. Yeah, because you can't make it a function because it has a retriggerable delay. You have to make a custom event. Okay, that's interesting, and that's for heavy fallings. Okay. Traversal action, we're updating warp targets, so some of this stuff's still the same. Ooh, we got a traversal server. Oh, dude, this is going to be sick. So where's this at? Perform traversal action. Okay, so they're still going based off that. So still the same stuff there. So that hasn't really changed. Although we got an on traversal in, so they did make more stuff. Okay. So then before, all right, I'm not going to get into the meat yet. Let's look at the other stuff. So we got the sprint. So they're doing the same thing here. They're setting the member. Yeah, because we don't want it to. Oh, that's actually a better way of implementing that. I kind of like that. I'll have to do some testing to see exactly how that's playing out. That's interesting. So let's see. So we got state server stuff. So that's being updated. Let's see our crouch input. So we're checking if we're not falling. So if we're not falling, okay, so then, yeah, so if we're not falling, do that. But then if we are falling, we do need to, I think we should call back to, where is it? This, because if we're walking on, well, nah, actually, no, scratch that, because if we're falling in general, just don't do anything, because it's going to catch when we do that. So then, yeah, we got crouch on crouch. So yeah, so network replicated right here, because of the replication there. And then our strafing setting, not wants to strafe. So pretty much the same thing there. It just, what's going on, what y'all may be confused by, is what they're doing is they have custom events that they're playing that is going to be played on the server. So that's what they're doing here. So it's confusing because they made a network replicated input for the character input state, but then breaking it apart and setting the structure value or structure file reference to then play out appropriately on the server. So all this is doing is it's essentially the same functionality as 5.4, but they're optimized better for the networking or the multiplayer. So I see what they're doing. However, this one, swap camera styles. So we got a camera style swapping. Wait, so they legit added it, but wait. So hold on. So where's it at? So let's move it down. I want to get a quick look. So we even got the scroll wheel. So wait. No way, dude. Oh, they set it up and there's a sound that comes with it. Ah, dude. That is fan-tucking fastic, dude. Okay. That is great. Oh yeah, play sound 2D. So object snaps. That's cool. All right, so I got the quick gist and the quick rundown of that. So that's actually pretty interesting how they're doing it. But this is going to be the moment everybody's waiting for. Let's actually take a look at the animation blueprint because I'm curious to see something, and I'm going to reveal y'all something depending on if they added it in here. So I don't know why it opened up on my other screen, but let's take a look at it. So, Jesus. Okay. So we're initializing our references. What are references? Okay, our sandbox characters. So that's good, out of the way. Need to cache since it is not possible to query UObject validity. So this is actually a C++ thing. So, but I thought this was supposed to be blueprint oriented. So, oh, they're just straight up checking is valid and then setting that. So, okay, I see what we're doing with caching, but if that's the case, I don't understand why they couldn't have just done this, because this essentially does the same thing. Like, where is it at? Where's my variables? You could have just done this and then did a validated get. I think it still accomplishes the same thing. So I have to do more research on why they're doing that rather than this. So I'm curious about that. Because if branch, then update data-driven variables. Oh, so it's calling every single data-driven variable that we looked at when I did my GASP from scratch series. Oh, snap, dude. Yeah, because now we're doing experimental state machine stuff, thread-safe animation updates, offset root bone, translation radius. So that's going to be interesting. This should be familiar if y'all seen my GASP from scratch and a blueprint series. Yep, okay. So getting the console variables in Blueprint is not thread safe, yet we have to cache the values queried to later be able to be used by Blueprint thread safe functions. Interesting. Yep, so then use it, gotcha, and then update logic. So, ooh, yeah, so we're doing trajectory. All right. Let's see. So the same thing as previously. We could just do self here, but because we're trying to do get owning component, it's just better to call it that way. We're still handling world trajectory collisions, so that way it better optimizes our trajectory. I really hate how they do that, I'm not gonna lie. Just move that down here briefly, just so I can see it. Alright. Ooh, past velocity, current velocity, and future velocity. Aw, dude. Okay, so they legit added trajectory velocity. What is that based off of? Let me see. Get trajectory velocity. Hang on. Get trajectory velocity. Where's that at? Ooh, it's added under pose search. So previously in 5.4, I don't believe I've ever seen this. I have seen sample at time. I don't believe I've seen this. So I think this is actually a relatively new variable that's been added into pose search. So I am curious. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. So interesting. So we are getting our past, present, and future velocity due to time here. So before our past 0.3 seconds, past 2 seconds, currently to up to 0.2 seconds into the future, and then 0.4 seconds into the future to 0.5 seconds in the future. That's gonna be awesome. Okay, so let's see. What's our essential variables? Oh, we cut out a lot. we cut out the pose search stuff. Okay, let's see. What do we have? So, aha! I knew they were gonna do it. I knew they were gonna do that because previously in 5.4, I had my wonderings because let me show y'all. So we still have the update states, right? So boom, we're still doing the movement mode, rotation mode, state last frames, whatever. So they are now caching our default root character transform in order to update to the current root transform. And then off of here, if the root bone is enabled, so our DCC var, if that's enabled, then we update it to the appropriate root transform, which is going to be based off of our offset root bone node. So same thing there. They did it there. Ooh, they're caching acceleration last frame. So I'm curious to see what they're going to use that with. Let's see. Get max acceleration. Yeah, because we set it within our character. No, that's get max acceleration. So I'm thinking of something differently. So then what's going to happen is we get a 1 or 0 value out of there. And then off of that, if we are greater than 0, I would almost say we can just do not equals and you would still get the same thing. Because if this is 0, then we don't have acceleration. But then if it's 1, we do. So we could literally, I mean, it's fine because it gives us what we still need anyway. Also, too, depending on if they do, if it's just a straight 0.1 or if they're doing 0.01, 0.02, yeah, we would still want that. But then, no, because then the not equals will still get the same thing. So that's interesting. And then we have, I think we have, yeah, we have velocity last frame last time because then when we went down, so velocity acceleration still happening, last non-zero, okay. Ooh. Okay, so then, yeah, the gate are still the same, and they utilize property access variables or property access nodes more. Although we could legit do it here, so if y'all really wanted to, property access nodes, we can literally just call our, where is it? It's going to be character movement. Come on. And then it's going to be, where is it? Yeah, orient rotation to movement. Literally just change it like that and you still get the same thing. It's just you want to be careful because you don't want to do too many property access nodes because what can happen is if something preloads before this, it may not be proper or get you the proper information. But I think what we looked at so far, this should still work. So that's cool. Is the is moving different? Oh, they've changed it up. So we have current velocity, future velocity, and acceleration. So it is no longer velocity and future velocity. We are now using the current velocity, future velocity, and our acceleration. Ooh, so wait, look at the current and future velocities determined by trajectory generation to determine if the character is trying to move, future velocity is greater than 0, or trying to stop, future velocity is 0. So then if that's the case, why have this at all? I have to do some more research on that dev team because if I'm reading that right, then it makes me wonder why we have this at all. So let's see. So that is different. So that's interesting. So we've looked at that. Use experimental state machine. Oh God, what do they have here? Movement direction last frame. So that's new. Ooh, let's see. Moving. We're getting our future velocity to normalize, calculate direction. So we are calling direction. So that tells me that we must be using a blend space somewhere. We're either using a blend space somewhere or we actually are using direction in a motion matching state, because I've tried to look for a simple motion matching thing with direction. It was actually in one of the projects that I was working on, but never really figured out what I could use it for. However, this is a local variable, so I am confused. Where are we using that at? Oh, we're using it here. That's actually a good use because we're getting front left, front right, back left, back right movement directions. Oh, I see. Ooh, and we're sprinting. Okay. So let's see. So we got that. What's target rotation? So we're getting a change of our rotation. So what is our target rotation equal then? So, ooh, that's under state machine. State machine experimental target rotation. So we are plugging in our rotator into that, but what are we getting? Are we just getting all 0 values? I think we're just getting default 0 values and updating it based off of our root bone offset node. Okay, and then is moving means the new target rotation. Okay. But then if we are rotating, we get even further. Ooh, okay. They're doing a lot more calculation here. A lot more. So let's see. If we are using sandbox character, if sandbox character is valid and debug experimental state machine is valid and use experimental state machine is valid, if all that is true, we are utilizing this new experimental debug experimental state. So we are getting our mesh location. Let's see, draw debug string. So we're doing a lot of debugs to see what we're at, what we're going toward, etc. Interesting. That is going to be a lot of research on what I do there. So then let's see it. What is it? Jesus. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what it's doing. Okay. So it's just a collapse node just for debugging. Okay. So nothing too important. Oh, well, crap. I wasn't done. Let me see. Back in event graph. Come on. Give me back. Put me back. Oh, it was right here. All right. So then we technically looked through all of that. So that was just a quick look of the event graph. I'm curious. Ooh, we have a foot placement. So that tells me, all right, so if guys, I'm about to spoil something for y'all if they actually do have it. So let's take a look at the animation graph. We're going to open it up. Do they utilize foot placement? They do. Okay. Guys, dev team, let me show you this, right? So here is my video from, a month ago when I went over using the foot placement node, because there was another YouTuber that I have made a shout out to, right? So Hikari Azure, where, this is his channel and stuff like that. And he had told me, previously when I did the previous game animation sample project for the other stuff, or for the foot placement or the leg eye cane, whatever, when I was trying to go over that, he recommended that I use foot placement because it fixes your foot placements on uneven terrain, slope warpings, and all this other jazz, right? So we have like a bunch of it's basically like a 3-in-1 kill 3 birds with 1 stone package, right? So what was funny was I talked about that, and you won't believe it because I don't believe it either, where Jose Villarole, hopefully I didn't butcher that, said, "This is cool, will enable foot placement by default in 5.5 as well as foot locking. There's minor improvements in 5.5 for foot placement." To which then I replied at the time, thinking this was a scam bot, that it's definitely a life changer, gotta be included in everything now, lol. So what's funny about that is Jose, who is this? Let me pull it over. That is a part of the epicgames team that is responsible for the animation blueprint. Let me see if it went Yeah, hang on. I don't know if I'll be able to see him, and I don't feel like logging into my LinkedIn just to show this. But this person right here is a part of the animation blueprint team over at Epic Games, who also released, his things on this, and he was also part of the team when creating the Lyra Starter game project. He is responsible for the animation blueprint in that project. This person reached out to me on my YouTube video saying, hey, this is cool, let's do it again sometime. So I don't believe everything I see on the internet, but here's the thing. Here is proof that foot placement is in the game animation sample project for ground alignment and foot locking. However, what are the plant settings and interpolation settings do? I'm curious. So let's open it up. So we're getting current database tags, and we're looking for stops, and we're checking to see if the blend stack input has a stop in it. If so, if true or false, plant settings default. What is the default settings? Oh, so it's pretty standard. But what is this, right? What is the plant settings here? Pivot around ball. So I will say this, dev team, I'm going to show y'all something about the pivot around ball. With what they have going on in their project, that is fine. However, if you're like me, where you're trying to do like a third-person template from scratch or whatever, and you add foot placements into any of your project, the first thing that I do as a simple version is just to check that we're not falling. This is basically the new control rig to me. And all you want to do is change foot placement right here in the alpha to just the bool value, and then just hook up is not falling until you get a better solution in place. But literally, if you don't want the little janky leg locking that it does, like I'll give you an example, right? So if we do pivot around ball, yeah. Look at what the legs do when you do that, right? But then if we do unlocked, watch what happens to the legs now. It looks just like the third person template, from scratch, where if you were to set up rotation, this is exactly what it would be doing. So very simple, very minute change. So they're keeping a lot of default settings that I can see, but I think something's right out the gate is we have a different speed threshold. We have a different plant radius, because I'm also looking at it from my settings. We have different ratio. We have, let's see, what else do we have? Okay, everything else is pretty much the same. There's some things out of here that have changed, which means, is this the default? No, because this is different. This is different. The same. Okay, so some things are different. So, okay. So that's interesting. So let's see. This function gives the steering node a target rotation. This target is calculated using the future-facing direction from the predicted trajectory. This allows... Oh, so it is based off the predictions made here. Oh, snap. So then what's this do? So we have just different interpolation settings. Yeah, so it doesn't lag too far behind. That's interesting. Okay. I see what it's doing. Jose, that is amazing. I do like that. I definitely am going to be doing more research onto what you've actually done there, but I definitely want to check that out. And then you have the leg IK. So where's the default montage? So I will say this, if you notice clipping or anything, place the foot placement node ahead of the default slot if you encounter any clipping through the feet and stuff like that. That is one thing I've noticed with my sample projects, is that I always run into issues if I have foot placement right here. You are correct to put it before the leg IK, but I've noticed that if you try to do montages and stuff like that, if it's not in GASP, this can break it depending on what settings you have. Ooh, we have an max translation error now. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. So pose history, are we using the experimental settings? We are using the experimental setting. Ooh, they've updated pose history. Ooh, so we have better settings here, but the trajectory still the same. Okay. So just for y'all that don't know this or may not understand it, especially with how I explained it in my other videos, this generate trajectory, this is experimental on this node, and it essentially does the same thing as, let me see, where is it at? Where did I put it? Update animation. It is the same thing as it's the same thing as this. It literally does the same thing, but it does these for you, but you just have to put in this information into that logic node. That is, but here's another thing too. Do not have them turned on at the same time. You either use one or the other, or you will have conflicts. So let's see. Ooh, so you have the bones. So I use 15 bones for mine to get more accurate data. So I definitely, okay, foot, thigh, spine, pelvis. Okay, interesting. Because I do foot, thighs, calves, all the spines, the pelvis, the clavicles, and the head. So that's interesting. So you have a actual curve that you're doing. That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to find that. So then let's see. So we still use dead blending. We still use the same AO stand. And we still use the same lean. But in our lean, so it is moving. Whoa, a two-way blend. What is this? Okay, so we have motion matching. So yeah, so is it still the same? Still the same, still the same. But you've still kept the steering. I thought this would have been removed in this release. So I am curious as to why we've kept the steering. However, slash comma, let's go ahead and do this while I'm in here. I'm going to move that over here. Move this off to the side. I'm going to move this out just to move this over here. And we are going to add in stride warping because one of the things that I've noticed with the sprint is that I think we need some stride warping in place. So let's set that to graph. Let's put that in there. Set it center. I'm going to, let's see. So the alpha, what I'll do is we'll change that to a Boolean and I'm going to pin it. I want to pin it as a temporary measure. We're going to do character movement is moving on ground just because we want the stride warping to happen while we're on the ground. And our locomotion speed is going to be based off of... Let's do... Where is it? Is it actually in here? Can we call it? No, we need to call it from the character. We need to do sandbox character... Well, no, because you have max crouch speed. Because you don't do it all in one, that's going to break it. So we have speed 2D. I'm going to clamp it to the speed 2D. What's the warning? Our warning is, oh yeah. Pelvis. And then IK foot. So let's see. You guys don't have to follow along with me, but if y'all do, this is fine. I am just going to go pretty fast through this because this is my first time looking at this and I want to share the experience with y'all. So that's why I'm kind of blowing through this real quick to see what I can edit, especially when I've done this like 100 times already. I did not want that. I wanted foot L. I got distracted by talking. So let's see. Thigh L. Come on. Can I not get it? All right, cool. And then let's see, IK foot. Let's see, we got foot R, foot R, thigh R. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep everything else as default just because I want to test this real quick. So we have it feeding off the graph. We gave it our stuff. How does these strides look now? It looks more tame. What does the sprint do? Sprint looks a little better if I see it right. I really don't like how that leg does that. Yeah, I need to look at the animations for that and see what I can do. But already I notice a difference because it's keeping up with the strides and there's no foot spinning. Oh, what does the crouch do? Do I get sliding with the crouch? A little bit, but that's gonna be kind of hard to fix. So, because of where it's actually sliding at. But stride warping, I noticed, already made a vast difference for me. And yes, if you do put stride warping, you want to put it here and not anywhere past reset root transform. For some reason, it just breaks everything. So definitely, if you do plan on adding stride warping to the 5.5 GASP, put it here. Even in 5.4, put it here. So let's see. So we got that. So that's an interesting take on it. So, well, wait, hang on. I didn't even finish everything. So we got that there. What's the additive lean? Do we still do the same thing? We still do the same thing for the additive lean, so that's interesting. I will be showing a simpler way of doing this in the Beyond Your First 60 Minutes, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Get lean amount, still does the same thing there, so that's pretty cool. So what is this? We are doing a blend stack. We got the inputs, so start time, self animation, loops, blend time. What is this? Oh, geez. Okay. We're getting a dynamic play rate. Okay. So we have steering in here. It's going to be the same stuff here where we're getting the current animation at the same time and the current play rate of that animation. Is the desired facing... Ooh, the desired facing I think is slightly different. Or no. Yeah, they actually changed this because there used to be 2 functions for this. Hang on. Yeah, I think they changed that up. Then they copied this where we're getting the current animation and we're casting to that animation sequence to get a curve value from it. So they actually made a curve value for turn in place steering. I have to find where these are at because I have no idea where they're at still. And then we're doing the same thing here. So we're doing the same thing for the blend stack, but we have more function inputs. Oh, Jesus. That's going to be one heck of a series. Okay. But that is cool. I like it. I know what's going on to a certain degree. So let's see. Is our aim offset still the same? Get AO value. Ah, so we've added in multiplayer stuff here. Or kind of locally controlled. Interesting. Okay. There's a slight change there. I don't recall seeing a lerp vector in the previous one. I have to double check that, but I don't think there was one. So that's definitely different. I think these are updated values. This is still the same. That's still the same. Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. Enable steering. I think that's how it was in the previous one, I believe. Wait, get AO yaw. Interesting. So we have a third value for that. What is the blend time? Blend time is still the same. Even I utilize that. But the time is different. This is instead of 4, it's 5 now. Interesting. So we've updated that blend time. What's this pose selection? Ah, we are finally utilizing it in here. Interesting. So that's where they moved it. So instead of caching it in the update essential values, they're putting it in here and then getting the database tags and then setting that here. So they've made this a dedicated node, right? No, they made this a dedicated node. So that's interesting. A function parameter, interesting. Is that, oh yeah, because they're calling it from here. Okay, that's a new symbol. Then we got blend settings, override motion match blend settings. So that's definitely a new variable. Or at least one that I'm not familiar with. Notify recency timeout. Make literal float. So we're just making it a literal float. Just for reals, dude. Okay, that's interesting. Blueprint thread safe. Update logic. Okay, so it just goes there. Oh, wait, no, yeah, I think I was going through there. What's the interrupt mode? So interrupt mode is still the same. Ah, but they changed it to interrupt on database change to make it a smoother transition. I had a feeling they were going to do that because every time I've done my motion matching templates, I always have to put interrupt on database change because if you change it to force interrupt and invalidate continuing pose like they did in 5.4, there's just a bunch of hot mess with T-poses, funky functions, stuff like that. So that's interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much for the most part still the same. But what about, okay, so we still have release. Yeah, by the way, guys, I do apologize that I didn't make a video or say in the video to actually change this back. But once you got everything set, you could actually set the accumulate value back. But I just keep it on release just because it works better for me. The accumulate just messes stuff up for me. Let's see. So that's We got a radius of 0. So interesting. Warping space still the same. Yep, okay. But dude, we have subgroupings now, so that's gonna be interesting. So we got debug, okay. A search cost, oh god. Okay, so that is actually pretty cool. I do like that, although I have a crap ton of tabs open now. Let's see. So yeah, this is definitely a long video because I'm cutting it at an hour just to discuss this and to briefly go over what I see for the first time. So all in all, that is interesting within the animation graph. I guess the final piece de resistance is to look at the final thing that everybody wants to definitely look at. Let's look at the traversal action, because the thing that I'm curious about is we have a started, which is interesting now, but we also have a trigger. So what this tells me is we've now changed over here. So we need to see the input value. Where's the input action? Input action. Where is it? Jump. Consume lower priority enhanced input map. So I definitely have to look at that. That's interesting. Ooh, so we just set it to down. Where if we hold down the button or press down on it or hold down on it. Yeah, okay, hang on. Do we have another jump? No, we have a button for traverse. Hold up. This is it. Hang on, where am I at? Jump. Where is it? Where you can't sit there and tell me that we have a specific button to traverse now. Where is it? You can't, don't hide it from me. Where is it at? Hold up, fam. Dev team, let's look at this. Where is it at? I don't see it anywhere, so it's messing with me. Where's it at? Is it in here? Okay. So that's the same. This setting's the same. This is the same. This is the same. Ooh, okay. We have our trace forward distance as a vector, but we also have it as a distance. Oh god, okay. And we have a trace origin. Oh geez, hang on. Do we have? No, we just have inputs and debug type. Oof, that's gonna be interesting. That's interesting. Oh wow, we have a trace channel of traversable. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Is the okay, so this off a glance looks the same, but I haven't delved really into the level block traversable because what I'm trying to do, dev team, is I'm trying to make it to where because I want to do a tutorial video on this, where there is a tutorial video out there that I have seen that does it, but what I want to do is I want to get rid of this to just set up a way for you to traverse any block on the level, not specifically traversable level blocks. So the problem that I'm running into is how to make a simple form of it, but there is a YouTube video where somebody does create that, what I'm trying to accomplish, but they don't explain it right. There's a lot of stuff that they do. It's a very fast video. A lot of it's confusing, and it's a huge turnoff. It doesn't give me what I was hoping to achieve. So I'm trying to figure it out by myself with the help of like a lot of research and stuff like that to see if I can figure it out to show y'all. But yeah, I don't want it to be specific to the level block traversable. So let's see. So that's the same. Okay, so we are just straight up calling from the structure, the struct file, rather than actor location and other stuff. But oh, wait, hang on, no, that's actually the same. That's actually the same now that I think about it. Let's see. Check result. That's the same. This is the same. This is the same. Yep. Okay, that is the same. Yes, that is the same. Obstacle height. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so for the most part, that's the same. However, this beauty is different because you'll notice here that this was in the previous version. So this is a little different. So let's look at it off first glance, right? So evaluate a chooser to select all montages that match the traversal check. Oh, so up here, they must have made their checks accordingly because they're whatever this is here, plus our movement mode, whether we're on ground or in air, our gait if we're walking, running, sprinting, output to here. Oh, so where are they doing the check at? Because this is just a debug, so that's not going to help me there. Because in 5.4, what it was like, okay, if we have this information, then do this action, right? Or wait, hang on. Did they just move it down? No, I think, did they just move it down? Is that all they did? Is it down or out of the way? I can't tell. Because let me see. Continue if there's a valid action type. Where, yeah, we cast to the BPI interaction. We get our anim instance. Motion match. Check result. So it's pretty much the same. Oh, wow. Traversal server. So this is going to be on the server. Oh, boy. That's going to be awesome. So did they move this out of the way? I can't tell because it looks like they've done everything to where whatever they have set up, it's like, yep, whatever we have out of here, just choose it. Well, wait, no. Traversal anims. They have a chooser table for traversal anims. Where is it at? Characters. Hold on, dev team. I think we're on to something here. Where is it? Chooser, database dense, traversal anims. Hang on. You can't sit there and tell me no. Wait, it's not. It may not be in here. Where is it? Traversal. Here it is. What are they doing? Oh God, this is fantastic actually. So they're setting it all here. Ah, dude, this is gonna be awesome. So basically, if we have the front ledge check, back ledge check, has back. So they're doing it all through a chooser table to get that, and they're doing an output enum. So if you're not familiar with how to do an output enum, it's literally right here. So that's what they're doing. So literally what they're doing is this is all the input data. And then once this is all done been checked, what this does, and it's based on, let me see if it's in here. I don't know if it's in here specifically. Table settings. I don't see it off the bat. Object of type, I think that's probably what's different now. So animation montage, I think it's a little bit different because of how they're doing this now. So wait, there might be different chooser tables now. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, but what they're trying to do is like if all of these match, output this action. So that's what they're doing. So that's actually a fantastic way of doing it. I do like that a lot. So yeah, so then, yeah, so they're feeding it. So that's more optimized. So then technically this can just be, this can just be deleted. Like we could just do this and it'll be fine. We could just straight up delete that so we don't have to have it bogging down our machine or our game or anything like that, because they're feeding all these values into the chooser table, and that chooser table gets our vault, hurdle, or mantle. So that's cool. Yeah, okay, I see how they're doing that. But then I guess my question is, so track traversal inputs. Oh, so this is different with getting the thing. However, what I want to do... Ah, I see. The return node is getting that stuff. What is this? Oh, okay, so it's a structure check. Okay, so they're doing the check traversal. Oh, okay. I see it now. Oh, that's fantastic. So, yeah, dev team, that is actually fantastic with what they're doing. However, I don't know how they're doing the hold, honestly, with, you know, with what we did earlier, right? So when we were playing it, if we go over here, right, to this whole like obstacle course here. So if you actually hang on. I did notice something. We have a high platform here. What does this do? Oh, so I noticed there's some differences in the falling animations. That's actually fantastic. Interesting. Oh, come on. I hit that. But yeah, so if we do this, yep, we get there. Do this, we get there. Ooh. That's fantastic. Sprint. Oh, guys, that's dangerous. You shouldn't have allowed me to have this, because once I figure that out, it's done, son. It's done. Okay, well, that's pretty much the look at what I wanted to do today with you guys, just because I wanted to go over with it. It's going to be exciting. I will definitely do a series on the game animation character blueprint and the animation blueprint, so that way we can go over and see how this works. I can already tell it's going to be exhausting, but I'm going to do it for y'all because I want everybody to share in this, and also, too, it's going to give me some insight on how they're doing the network multiplayer stack that they're doing in here, because as you can see, we do have server stuff where it's like call on server, and then we'll do it on client, and then we have a bunch of other stuff going on where we're doing simulated proxies. So that's interesting for a network call that we're trying to do. So this is going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how to do this or how it all works, and I definitely am going to share it with you guys, because there is going to be a wait, here's the catch. Ah, geez. Okay, I see what they're doing. Oh god, guys, y'all are gonna give me a headache with this. Oh, so there's where the chooser table is for that. Oh dude, okay. But yeah, but that was just a, I wanted to say quote unquote a quick look, but this is definitely not a quick look. This is more or less like, hey guys, this is an hour discussion to see what I think about it and everything like that, and to see what's going on. I will say this, Epic Games, this looks fantastic. It looks great. I can't wait to go over it. I really can't, because I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to teach me, once I reverse engineer it, teach me how to do the networking aspects, because that is something I have wanted to get into. It's just that I'm trying to work on my other stuff where I just don't want to deal with it right now. That's why I haven't even started AI and like other stuff yet. So that's actually interesting, because as you can see, this has literally been my project for a bit now, because what I was trying to do, so that's why I'm pulling it over, is I'm trying to make a third-person template that uses the baseline setup that is useful for motion matching, that is off of the third-person template, that doesn't take too much stuff. I still got to put the camera stuff in here, but I'm trying to figure out how to simplify that. Because for the get desired gates, as you can see with what we looked over earlier, I super simplified this because you still achieve the same result. And the reason you can still achieve the same result with this is just because of this bad boy, because it doesn't matter what value we set for our IA move, we will always make it in a value in between 0 to 1. So as long as we normalize that, we always get a value between 0 and 1. So you could still accomplish the variable speeds in a much simpler form by doing this, and we still get the same results. So that's, one of the things there. The calculate max speeds, instead of doing a curve float, I just did a pure function for my strafe map, because I thought that this would be better, so we don't have to reference and call a curve float where it has to do other stuff with, So I try to simplify it in here using local variables. So these are only called when this function runs, So all that other good stuff. Let's see. But yeah, I try to make it as simple as I humanly could. There are some stuff there is some stuff that is missing. So that is something I'm going to be working on before I put it out. But then as you can see here with our update essentials values, as you can see, I have only utilized what I can with just the third-person template. I added the is crouching because I feel like that should be a default state. I don't know why it's not a default state. Epic Games, I would love you if you would just put the crouch as a default thing in the third-person template. But other than that, I put out the trajectory because this is the basic stuff for, as you can see here, we just have the basic stuff that you would find in your first 60 minutes. With motion matching, I did update the trajectory thing because I wanted to capture the 60 frames per second. So, and then output our future 20 movements. So there are some stuff that, because I've optimized it and improved performance, I wanted to utilize some of these features to utilize that extra gain performance to make those predictions or better fluid calls. Because when you actually play this, it does work, and like I am using Lyra starter project assets because as you can see, there was some wonkiness at the beginning, but it is being used. I don't have sprinting, as you can see. I do have a crouch, however, that utilizes proper speeds. It looks very fluid and stuff like that. So that's some of the simple stuff that I'm trying to do. As you can see, I have my own foot placement. I have my IK. The pose history, as you can see, I have 15 array elements being called because I want the most accurate, predictions as possible using these. We're calling our trajectory variable. I'm not using the trajectory experimental thing because you can cause conflicts if you do, stuff like that. But then you can see I'm still utilizing the third-person template jumps because utilizing state machines is definitely helpful if you feed it right. But then also on top of that too, as you could see that I'm still doing similar stuff because this actually does work. I tried to make it simple, but you just can't do it because of the interrupt mode. I need the interrupt mode, and the only way to properly do the interrupt mode is this. So I still have that, but you'll notice that there are some differences in what I'm doing. You can even see that I have the should move here. You can see that I'm calling the gate from my third-person character. I'm using the is crouching variable that I set in here, all the other stuff. And then, my references. As you can see, I have 2 references. And here's the thing, if y'all are confused. What I'm trying to do was, this is for the default character stuff. So this can be used for any game character. Doesn't matter, right? So this is all the data that you can use for NPCs, bosses, whatever. And I'm trying to keep that as close to possible to the mannequin. The problem is when we start getting into movements and gates and stuff, I have to call the third person character and reference that stuff. So the stuff will only work, like the movement mode, the movement, orient to movement, stuff like that only works with the third person character. So that's the only reason why this is in here. I was trying to make it to where it only uses this, but it was literally impossible for me to think of a way to utilize it best. But I'm not fretting over it because eventually I'll find a way. But for the moment, I have to incorporate it. But yeah, this is literally my simple third-person project that, as you can see, uses Lyra starter project animations. Once I work out the kinks and stuff, I think I'm going to do a tutorial series on it to just go over it, or I will upload it to the Fab store as a free download if y'all want to have a third-person template to be utilized that comes with a very basic form of motion matching. So that's what I plan on doing for you guys, just because there was a lot of research to figure out like how I can make this as simple as possible. But as we saw, it is kind of hard. So, but other than that, that is pretty much it, guys. I was fun looking into this with y'all. I know it was a long video, but I know everybody's excited like I am that, wants to utilize those technologies. So that was a quick, or a quote unquote quick look, but more of a discussion on the Game Animation Sample Project 5.5. My thoughts are that this looks amazing. I can't wait to get into the networking part of this. So epicgames, this does look awesome. Like I said, can't wait. I know I keep reiterating myself, although I'm dreading on getting into this because there is some stuff that I want to think about on how they accomplish this stuff, so that it is going to be interesting. Like, I understand why they're doing this, and I understand why they are doing where was it? This. But yeah, there's just some things that I might do slightly different depending on if it provides more optimization or whatnot. But yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. I'm happy. I am actually kind of pleased with. I am pleased with this epicgames. This is great. And Jose, if you are watching this, thank you for including the foot placement in the animation blueprint. I think that's awesome. I like what you did with the pinning of variables. Although once I get a gist on how that works, I am curious to see on if there's any improvements I can make. Not saying it's bad or anything, but I just wanted to I'm just curious to see what I can do with it. So, but yeah, this is amazing. I can't wait to fully get an in-depth look at this. So other than that, dev team, it was great. This was hopefully a productive discussion. Be on the lookout for, whenever I start this series. But for the moment, I will be continuing the Beyond Your First 60 Minutes, just so we can look at more simple stuff on how to accomplish this in a simple form, on how to do this in a simple form, and then also adding overlay states where you could change between a rifle, shotgun, pistol, unarmed, stuff like that. And then fixing the left hand IK with fabric, stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be swell. So other than that, everybody, y'all have a great rest of your day and take care.